Hello everyone, welcome to episode 12 of the Deep Psychology Podcast August series called August Wisdom, 31 episodes in 31 days, and I'm happy to be joining you to talk about the power of purpose. This is a Deep Psychology Podcast. I'm Ross Edwards, author, coach, podcaster, and avid practitioner and teacher of psychology and spirituality. In listening to this podcast, you're part of the worldwide deep psychology community of tens of thousands of people undertaking profound personal transformation. You can find me on Spotify and Apple, where I release new episodes every Thursday. If you dig what I do and want to help the show grow, share this with a friend and leave a review. You can also go deeper with this work by training with me at deep-psychology.com. Let's get started. So just want to say before we get going that for the month of August, I've got 25% off my coaching program and an extra 10% off if you have never done any classes or coaching with me before. So go and check that out if you're interested in working on these topics with me. All right, so the power of purpose. Before we talk about the power of it, I guess we should talk about what I actually mean by purpose. So purpose doesn't mean my purpose is to earn lots of money. My purpose is to be successful. My purpose is to have a big house. Because these things are not a purpose. These are goals and they are contingencies. And there are many ways to get them. And many of them have nothing to do with purpose in the way that I mean. What a purpose is a project or an undertaking or a calling that you feel intrinsically motivated towards and you intrinsically love it beyond the material rewards or the success or the money or the image that this project may give you. So it's interesting because I find that most people have an inkling of their purpose in life, but very few people live their purpose in life. What most people do, and I don't say this to demonize people, I just say it as a fact because it is a fact. What most people do is essentially they spend their entire life running away from their true purpose. They have an inkling of it, they know it's there, it sort of bugs them, it plagues them throughout their day, throughout their life, all day long when they're, coming home from work and they're going to work and they're doing a job they don't particularly like and all the rest of it. It's there in their mind, but they just, it's like the ostrich with the head in the sand. It's just, don't want to listen to it, don't want to follow it. And for this reason, it can be strange to talk about purpose. When I talk about purpose, a lot of people can't listen. Like they cannot relate to it because they don't know what it's like to actually take these inklings that we have that are related to pure passion, essentially, beyond what the passion may bring us in terms of material success. They've never taken these passions and developed them. So when I talk about purpose and I talk about how you can have passion in your life as a default, most people do not understand this. And it's heartbreaking to me as someone who knows exactly what it's like to live disconnected from my purpose and to go through the process of making it reality and knowing the rewards of that. It really breaks my heart. So that's what I mean by purpose. It's a calling we have. It's a purpose we have. And we all have them if we really are honest with ourselves and we stop lying to ourselves and we stop trying to cover it up and explain it away. We will realize that we all have a purpose. It might not be a fully developed purpose, but it's there, right? In my case, my purpose is basically learning everything I can about human psychology and spirituality, merging the two together and helping people to live better lives and to live deep spiritual lives as a result of that. That's my purpose, right? And I was aware of it for a few years and I hid from it. And only about 5 years ago did I actually say, right, no, that we have to make this a reality somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know this is what it is. And I went through a process of clearly defining it. I actually did courses and I read books and all the rest of it, and I made it very explicit. And I've spent the last 5 years of my life basically making that happen. What is the power of having a personal purpose and not just having one? Because I feel like we all have one somewhere inside us. What's the power of actually making it real? I was actually having this conversation with my mum at Christmas time when I was visiting. And, when you're in a situation like that, often you can have conversations that you might not usually have, say, over a phone call or if you just go out for the day. And I remember saying to her that my purpose is always there. It doesn't matter how I'm feeling. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what else is going on in my life. It doesn't matter whether I feel optimistic or pessimistic about my purpose. It doesn't matter if my purpose is generating lots of money or not. It's always there. And no matter what anyone says to me, I am not distracted from it. And I think this is just such one of the beautiful internal things about having a personal purpose. It gives you like this very strong compass. It gives you like this rock in your life that it guides everything else that you're doing. And it's not bashed up or altered or swayed by the currents and the weather in the other areas of our life. In fact, it remains strong throughout all of that when it's developed enough and when you've really began to make it a reality. That's one of the big things that I really see that a lot of people do not have. And I feel very fortunate to have that. When you know what your purpose is, you know that it's going to guide your life for the next, I don't want to put a number on it, the next few decades of your life is going to be about this purpose because it feels extremely passionate. It feels like a sort of quest. It feels holy. It feels spiritual. It feels it has a special quality, and you know that it's the most important thing. And once it gains arms and legs, it sustains itself and it sustains you through its power. The other thing is that, linking back to yesterday's episode about why money can't fulfill you, is that you begin to unhook from money and success. You don't have to have this idea that you either have passion or you have money, right? What I actually advocate and what is absolutely possible is to have both in your life. So you can have the passion and you can build a career around that, your purpose, but you can also do that intelligently with time in such a way that you're not selling yourself out for lots and lots of money because you don't feel any passion for it, so you just go for the money, but you're also not sacrificing your financial life. You've actually got a balance between the two. And the beautiful thing is that you won't feel the need to have lots and lots of money, like excessive amounts of money, and to have this, all the accoutrements of success that people look for, because quite frankly, your purpose is much more fulfilling than any of that. And even if you have the money, these things don't mean very much. From the outside, people look at my life and they see these things, and it doesn't matter to me that much. It's nice, but it's not what drives me. I don't get up in the morning thinking about my image and my success, the usual accoutrements of success. I think about my purpose and how I can advance my purpose and who I can become and what needs to be done and what fears I need to overcome and all the rest of it. I'm not thinking about just, I need to get up and do this because I'm getting money. That doesn't enter into my mind, right? So this is one of the great things, because money is not going to fulfill you in the end. We spoke about that yesterday. And purpose is actually the higher form of human career that we're slowly evolving towards as a species. And developmental psychology shows us this. And when you do that, you'll realize that the fulfillment you get from having a strong purpose and living it out is much greater than material, that you will gain from material success. And finally, I think your life becomes beautiful. It doesn't mean that your life is all pleasant and wonderful and there's no challenges. There's plenty of challenges, but you don't have this sense of meaningless, of hollowlessness that many people get when they have material success and they realize that it didn't really do anything for them, because your life is built around your purpose. It's built around something you're inherently motivated to do for its own sake. And so it's almost like a child. A child will build a sandcastle. Are they thinking about the fact that the sandcastle will get washed away? No. Are they thinking about the fact that the sandcastle doesn't have any, they're not going to become rich because of the sandcastle? No. Are they thinking about the fact that the sandcastle is useless? No. They're just enjoying the process, right? So you sort of regain that childlike, playful joy in a new sort of adult context, and you don't get lost in all the accoutrements that you may gain from this purpose. So that's just a short little segment on the power of having a personal purpose and living it out. I've written many articles about this subject. Please go and visit my website, deep-psychology.com, to check them out, and also search for my other episodes on this topic. There's so much more I could say, but in August Wisdom, we're not going super in depth. I'm just giving little bite-sized pieces of wisdom every day for 31 days of August. But I feel extremely fortunate to have got to the point where I'm living my purpose every day, and it's sustaining me now, and it feels solid, and it feels reliable, and it feels that it's real. It's not just a fantasy in my mind as it once was, and it's a beautiful place to be in. So thanks a lot for joining me. Make sure to subscribe to get notified on every upcoming episode of August Wisdom, and come back at the same time tomorrow to check out the next episode. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, please leave a review and share with a friend. And if you'd like to go deeper, head to deep-psychology.com to join my training. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.